Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Mark with My Front Range Living, and man, have we've hit it. This is it, gang. We have got the June market update for the Colorado Springs real estate market, and we're going to get started right now. So the Colorado Springs real estate market, as you probably already guessed, is kind of volatile right now. So again, this is for the entirety of the Pikes Peak region, right? So this is for June of 22 in the Pikes Peak region, and the housing market did shift a little bit last month. Yeah. So if you're thinking about moving to or buying a home in Colorado Springs, or you're already living in Colorado Springs and you just need some information, this is really, really good. And I would love to tell you that we have some sort of concrete idea of what everything looks like as we're moving forward. And the reality of it is we simply do not. But let me give you some numbers and we'll try and sort through them and see what we can come up with. So sales actually went up, right, in June from May. In May, they were 1689, and in June, they were 1712. So not a huge swing by any stretch of the imagination, but still, oddly enough, our sales went up. Obviously indicative of the fact that all of those homes were under contract, right, 30 days ago. So that's something that we want to keep an eye on. And of course, we're way up over last year. Last year, June of 2021 was 1,551 sales, and so well above that at 1,712. Now, average sales price. This one caught my eye. I was really surprised by that. So last month, as you know, you watched the video, and if you haven't seen it, you can check it out right here. So this is May's market update. But in May, the average sales price was $554. We only dropped 0.5%. We dropped 0.5% down to $551.3. That was it. So we're still well on pace. We're killing last year. So June 2021, 489.5, right? And so here we are at 551.3. So the reality of it is we're still above that 550 level for the average sales price. Now, normally we don't hop into the median sales price, but we thought it was interesting for single family homes this month. Check this out. The median sales price of single family homes in the Pikes Peak MLS went from $487 to $495. The median sales price went up month over month from May to June. And of course, skyrocketing from $432 this same time last year, June 2021. But I thought it was interesting that the median sales price went up from May to June. Just something to chew on. So active homes. And here's where it gets really, really good. And we're going to talk more about a normal inventory later on in the video. But active homes. 2,125 active homes, which we haven't seen those numbers in years in the Pikes Peak region. So that's fantastic. Clearly up from 1,365 in May last month and well above, gang, you may not even remember this, 582 active homes in June of 2021. Like, it's incredible. We have 4 times more homes. So we actually fought through the last year with little to no inventory. Bananas. So we don't normally do this stat, but I thought it was appropriate because everyone likes to talk about price reductions. And we have had more than our fair share, clearly far more than we have had over the last 2 or 3 years. But in El Paso County, so we're being specific to El Paso County here, and this is single family, townhomes, condos, everything combined, the percentage of listings with price reductions was 32.6%. So just shy of 1/3 of the homes that hit the market had a price reduction. So that's pretty substantial when you stop to think about it, but still not as prevalent as everyone thought it was going to be. So about 1/3 of the homes that were listed in El Paso County, it had a price reduction. But get this, the average price reduction was only 2%. It was only 2%, and I thought that was really, really interesting. So while we had 1/3 of the active homes on the market having a price reduction, it was only 2%. Now, obviously, as you get up into the $1 million listings, $2 million, $3 million, so on and so forth, it's a higher percentage, right? Because they can, in theory, afford to have the larger price reduction. But overall, the average price reduction was only 2%. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that as we move forward. So the reason that the price reduction conversation is a big one is it's my judgment that a lot of agents were out there, hey, or sellers, right? Sellers were like, you know what, I want to see if I can still take advantage of this peak that we've had over the last couple of years and just see if I can get this number. And that could be what's driving that 2%. But like I said, that's a new stat that we're going to start throwing into our market updates for you, just to kind of keep an eye on that, because I think that's a great indicator of where our market's off to. Anyway, on to condos and townhomes. So here we go. Just like single family, they have a tendency to follow that wave. So sales of condos and townhomes in the Pikes Peak MLS went up from 208 in May to 218 in June. Now that's down from 220 a year ago, which is interesting because that market was crazy tight. We'll get to their inventory in a minute, but sales you take a look at it, right? 220 in June of last year, 208 in May of this year, 218 in June. It's really, really close. It's staying in that 215 to 220 range, somewhere in there, right? So not a lot of variance in the sales for condos and townhomes. However, in the average sales price, it did go down. Now, much like we were talking about on the single family side, it went down from 369.7 to 366. That's it. It's a super nominal shift. It wasn't substantial. And of course, that 366 in June of this year is well above 318.7 that we saw in June of last year. So that average sales price, even though we see this shift happening in our market, it's not hitting our numbers yet. So I'm not real sure what that looks like. More on that in a little bit. Median sales price, right? So we did it with the single family home. Really no surprise on the condo townhome side. It went down from 365 to 348. Really weren't surprised by that. Of course, that 348 number in June of this year is well above 310 that was in June of last year. So a substantial jump in median sales price year over year, but month over month, we actually went backwards. So active homes. And we're kind of going to go into a little more detail here on these active homes. The reason that active homes is such a big deal is because normal, right? We're going to talk about what a normal inventory is here in a minute, but active homes for condos and townhomes, right? In June of this year, it was a flat 200, which is way up from 113 in May. Way up. And it's clearly way above 71 in June of 2021. So a huge glut of active homes on the condo townhome side. But let's chat for a second. What does a normal inventory mean? It basically means if we were to sell homes at our current pace and nothing else hit the market, how many months of inventory would we need to have on the market? So a normal inventory is 6 months of inventory, meaning if we didn't list another house for 6 months, how long would it take us to sell every single house that's listed, right? 6 months. Right now, single family homes, the month inventory, we're at 1.2. Gang, we're still super, super low from a quote unquote normal inventory. We're not even halfway there, all right? So 1.2 months is all we have on the single family side. Get this, condos and townhomes, even lower, not even a month, 0.9. So we're still dramatically impacted here on a lack of inventory. Yes, we're seeing price reductions, it's true, but overall, demand is out there. And I'll give you an example. We went last week with some buyers, and that home had been on the market 10 days. No price changes, no reduction, nothing of that sort, just been on the market 10 days. We went, we saw the house, loved it, buyers want to make an offer. We were up against 3 other people in that space. And it had only been on the market 10 days. And I realized that over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, only 10 days sounds silly, but we forget that in 16, 17, and the first part of 18, 10 to 14 days was the standard time on the market, right? So that went pretty quickly. It went the average price. Now, we're also showing houses right now that have been on the market 30 days, 60 days. We've got some houses on the market. The interest rates are definitely a conversation that we want to have with you. We understand that, but there's still a huge demand in the Colorado Springs area, specifically the Pikes Peak region. So just a ton of numbers, and I know there's a lot going on. So if you have any questions, you can hit the description of the video below. And our website is in there, myfrontrangeliving.com. You can hit us up. We would love to answer any questions you have. We know it can be kind of confusing, and we'd love to help you out any way that we can. We also have our relocation guide in that description. So that relocation guide just gives you a little bit better description of where spots in Colorado Springs might work for you and meet your criteria. It's just some different neighborhoods, different areas of town, just to see how it fits your lifestyle as you begin to make the move to Colorado Springs. Hey, as always, it would mean the world if you went below and clicked the thumbs up on today's video, liked our content, and it would mean even more if you went below, click that bell and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out content every single week to help you make Colorado Springs feel like home. Hey, as always, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.